In the headlines, Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority says flooded Lokoja Road responsible for fuel scarcity in Abuja. Others. Government tasked to equip teachers with skills, incentives as Gombe set to implement minimum wage from November. Customs intercept ammunition, contraband worth 600 million naira. And on the foreign scene, Captain Ibrahim Traore officially appointed as president of Burkina Faso after coup. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Hello and welcome once again. The Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Agency, NMDPRA, has said the current fuel scarcity in Abuja and other states in the north is caused by flooding in Lokoja, Kogi State. According to a statement by NMDPRA, water has submerged a great part of the city and grounded all vehicular movements, a development which affected distribution of petroleum products to the Federal Capital Territory and environs. The statement further says, as part of measures to mitigate the situation, trucking via alternate routes is currently ongoing. The agency called on the general public to avoid panic buying at fuel stations, as the NMDPRA is working assiduously with relevant stakeholders and government agencies to ensure product availability across the country. And President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed joy over the release of the remaining 23 victims of the Kaduna train attack. Their release was confirmed on Wednesday, months after they were abducted by Boko Haram insurgents. According to a statement by his media aide, Garba Shehu, the president expressed satisfaction over the successful deployment of both kinetic and non-kinetic processes, leading to the eventual safe release of the remaining hostages. President Buhari also congratulated the families of the victims for having them back alive. He assured the Nigerian Armed Forces of all needed support and encouragement to achieve their objectives. In the meantime, neighbors thronged the residence of one of the released victims of the abduction, Abdullah Muhammad Barrow, at Tudunwada community in Kaduna to rejoice with the family. Brother of the released victim, Tasiu Barrow, said he has spoken with Abdullahi on the phone after their release, adding that they are now undergoing medical checks before they would be reunited with their families.
That we have gone through for the past 6 months and 1 week, it has come to an end. They are free now. We are yet to receive them, but we talked with them on phone. My brother Abdullah Muhammad, I spoke with him on phone. They gave him phone and we spoke, and I'm very sure, inshallah, by the grace of God, they will bring them back to their family tomorrow morning. Inshallah. Now they are undergoing treatment at the hospital. So when they are done with everything, they will bring them back to their family. I feel so much excited. My father was ill. He was so disturbed about this issue. And when I heard the news, I rushed and called him to tell him a good news. He was so excited, he was joyful. And alhamdulillah, everyone, as you can see, many people around us here, they are here jubilating.
Nigeria's 3 tiers of government have been called upon to equip teachers with the necessary skills, incentives and welfare to enable them effectively carry out their role of transforming and shaping the future of education in the country. The Nigeria Union of Teachers, NUT, made the call at the commemoration of the 2022 World Teachers' Day. Trust TV's Aisha Salihu has details.
The national president, Nigeria Union of Teachers, Titus Amba, in his remark at the commemoration event, called on federal and state governments to increase educational budgetary allocation in compliance with the internationally recommended benchmarks and harmonize the retirement age for teachers, among others.
Secondary education subsector are faced with serious challenges. These include non-implementation of 30,000 minimum wage for teachers in some states, shortage of teachers, poor infrastructure, lack of instructional materials, insecurity in school, inadequate funding, and poor condition of service in general. It is regrettable that this deplorable state of education and poor working condition of teachers adversely affect education service delivery, especially in the public sector. Let me use this occasion to reiterate our call on government at board level and stop. At both national and sub-national level, to place high premium on education and afford teachers their pride of place in the society.
On his part, the Minister of Education, Adamu Adamu, commended the NUT for not embarking on any industrial action during the period of the President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration.
We call on state and local governments to prioritize the welfare of teachers by raising their salaries on part-line tasks in their respective budgets.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, speaking on behalf of President Muhammadu Buhari, reiterated the determination of his administration to return teachers and the teaching profession to their rightful place in the country through the integration of technological advancement in teaching techniques.
Introducing the important responsibility that teachers themselves have, are able to be at the cutting edge of advancements in education, and especially the use of technology and modern teaching methods. Education must respond to the dynamism, the speed of development, and the massive changes that are taking place.
Deserving teachers, administrators, and schools from parts of the country were presented with awards from the annual President's Teachers and Schools Excellence Award instituted in 2007 to recognize and reward their outstanding contributions to quality education delivery in Nigeria. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Zamfara State Government says it will commence the implementation of the 30,000 Naira national minimum wage for civil servants in the state from November 2022. The state acting governor, Senator Hassan Nasiha, disclosed this while signing a memorandum of understanding with the Zamfara State chapter of the Nigeria Labour Congress in Gusau. The report. Zamfara State civil servants were not among those who benefited from the implementation of the 18,000 Naira national minimum wage, nor the recently approved 30,000 Naira national minimum wage, which some states of the Federation had since commenced implementation. However, this may be cheering news for the state civil servants as the government is looking towards that direction, where the administration promised to soon start the implementation of the 30,000 Naira national minimum wage come November 2022. Senator Hassan Nasiha, however, attributed the delay in the implementation of the national minimum wage to the problem of insecurity in the region.
We're here with the Labour members, Labour executives, for the purpose of implementation of 30,000 minimum wage. Alhamdulillah, with the interference of our leaders, God has made it a day today. And inshallah, He has made it possible to see how we can implement 30,000 minimum wage.
The governor has taken the day, because without his support, I couldn't have performed this. So we are implementing our 30,000 Naira minimum wage in Zamfara, and inshallah, this will take effect from the month of November. All Zamfara state workers will now enjoy the minimum wage. We are grateful for the understanding, and inshallah, the government will live up to its expectations.
The state's chairman of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Comrade Sani Halilu, said the Labour Union has withdrawn their 21-day ultimatum issued earlier to the state government to act on the implementation of the 30,000 Naira minimum wage or face a shutdown.
I am very much grateful that expectation become reality. That is to say, our expectation of getting our minimum wage as it is constitutionally is today a reality, because a memorandum of understanding is signed publicly before every government official, including the chairman committee on the minimum wage, the SSG, the head of service, and all stakeholders in the state, including media and the two labor centers.
Zamfara state government and labor unions have agreed to work together to increase the state's internally generated revenue to sustain the welfare of civil servants and people of the state. And to politics now, where the People's Democratic Party presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar on Wednesday received hundreds of defectors from other parties to the PDP at the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa Stadium, Bauchi. Bauchi State Governor Bala Muhammad said Atiku Abubakar will win the 2023 presidential elections and will unify the country by tackling numerous challenges threatening its corporate existence. Governor Muhammad explained that Atiku Abubakar signified the hope of the country and assured that Bauchi and other northern states will vote for him in the forthcoming presidential election. Atiku Abubakar urged people of Bauchi State to appreciate the PDP in view of the performance of Governor Bala Muhammad by supporting continuity for better service delivery.
We are the oldest, we are the strongest, and we are the largest. Congratulate the people of Bauchi, the governor of Bauchi, Bala Muhammad, for.
Meanwhile, some PDP stakeholders in Plateau State say they are not discouraged by the recent withdrawal of support by former Governor John David Jang for the PDP presidential candidate. The former Plateau State Governor, alongside other party members loyal to Governor Nyesom Wike, recently pulled out of Atiku's campaign team following the refusal of the national chairman of the party, Dr. Iyorchia Ayu, to resign his position to pave way for someone from the southern part of the country to take over. Ado Musa completes the report.
Soon after the former Governor Jang backed the decision of Wike's group to withdraw support for Atiku Abubakar, some PDP stakeholders in the state, under the umbrella of Plateau for Atiku Group, reiterated their support for the PDP presidential candidate, adding that they were not discouraged by Jang's decision, saying the decision was a personal choice of the former governor. An interim secretary of Plateau for Atiku, Professor Shedrack Bess, re-emphasized that the PDP presidential candidate remained their preferred candidate and believed that he will win the presidential election in the state come 2023. He said he hopes that before the general elections, the former governor will rethink and join Atiku's campaign team. But if he refuses, it will not stop PDP from winning Plateau State.
Like I said, I have given Senator Jang all his respect, all the honor that is due him as a leader in the PDP. But I know that if he comes to join the Atiku campaign, and I believe he will, that would be beautiful. If he does not come, that would be a personal choice, but it's not going to stop Atiku Abubakar from winning Plateau, because all the people of goodwill have come together. And I believe that Senator Jang will not openly campaign against Atiku.
The secretary, however, believed that the former governor is open to discussion, and when such avenue is provided, he will listen to the PDP presidential candidate.
Of being ill-advised, I believe he is experienced and exposed enough to know what is right, and we give it to him for his experience and pedigree and age, that he's not being ill-advised. We believe that he has some considerations, but one of the things that I know about is that he is open to discussion, and I believe that if he finds an opportunity for a one-on-one discussion with Atiku Abubakar, probably many things will change.
Professor Bess further said all other people of goodwill in the state have identified with Atiku and will ensure that he wins Plateau State in a very decisive manner in the next general election. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
The Independent National Electoral Commission has released the final list of candidates that will contest the governorship and Houses of Assembly election in 28 states of the Federation in the 2023 elections. In a statement signed on Wednesday by the National Commissioner and Chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, the list contained 18 political parties that fielded 837 candidates and their running mates for the 28 governorship elections. The statement also indicated that 10,231 candidates will vie for 993 seats in the State House of Assembly elections. The list also included the names of the running mates to the governorship candidates from the 18 political parties billed to participate in the polls. Over 14 candidates in 12 states have been knocked off the INEC list on account of litigation and controversies that dogged the party's primary elections. You're watching Trust TV News Update. And still ahead. How NITEL privatization turned sour. Details of this and more after the break. Stay with us.
Which kind wire you gonna need to light up your light? Oh man, the quality wire. Now which kind cable you gonna need to light up your house? Oh man, the quality cable. Coleman quality. Coleman wire. Coleman durable. Coleman cable. Coleman tank. Coleman cable for any kind of project. Come and be the come and see, come and see. Come and be the Coleman won't light up your light. Come and be the come and see. Come and be the COLEMAN. Quality, quality. Durable. Now come and be the Baba.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Update. Now let's recap our top stories. President Muhammadu Buhari welcomes release of abducted train hostages. And government tasks to equip teachers with skills, incentives, as Gombe sets to implement minimum wage from November. And moving on to other news. The Yobe State Emergency Management Agency says about 31,000 families were affected by flood, while 6,592 residents were displaced in various communities. SEMA Executive Secretary Muhammad Goji, who disclosed this at the press briefing in Damaturu on Wednesday, said the 255 communities affected are sited along rivers Komadugu, Ghana, and Yobe banks and floodplains in the state. He stressed that heavy downpours of rain between May and September resulted in flooding of 255 communities across the state. According to him, the 2-month rainfall led to the deaths of 5 children in Gashua, displacement of people and destruction of houses, food items, and 645 livestock worth millions of naira. Goji further said that the magnitude of the flood disaster is high and needs multi-sectoral and interagency intervention with robust resource mobilization at state and council levels, because the magnitude of the flood is the worst in recent times in Yobe State. Creditors of the defunct NITEL and MTEL on Wednesday held a peaceful protest demanding their liquidation benefits. The benefits, which have lingered for over 17 years, have caused the creditors untold hardship, as Noel Sampson reports.
NITEL is a product of the merger between Telecommunications arm of the Front Post and Telecommunications Department of P&T of the Ministry of Communications and Nigeria External Communications Limited, NET. It formally commenced operations on January 1, 1985. Despite the huge amount of funds invested annually in the agency, NITEL was unable to expand its installed capacity beyond 700,000 lines up till 2001, when the government started its relegation moves. NITEL introduced mobile telephony in 1992 through a partnership with an Atlantic-based firm, but nothing changed. Operations remained inefficient, lines congested, the billing system unreliable, and the call completion rate for long-distance calls remained below 50%. By the mid-90s, it was obvious that NITEL lacked the adequate capacity to meet the growing demand for its services. MTEL was then established in 1996 as the mobile arm of NITEL. The liquidation benefit that necessitated the peaceful protest are for contracts executed from 2004 to 2005 throughout the country. The protest took place on Wednesday at the Bureau of Public Enterprise, BEP, headquarters in Abuja. They appealed to the federal government and the vice president to help seal the situation so that their remaining money is paid.
Already, they are owing us a fabulous amount. We have tried our best. We've written We've written so many to BP director, all the whole people, even VP, but yet no response. We are pleading to them to please pay our liquidator so that they can pay us the verified one. That's why we are here today. We are representing the rest people.
They lamented how most of the members have died due to inability to meet their daily needs, while those still alive are heavily indebted.
Our people are dying. You can see how many of us did you see us here today? They couldn't come. No money, no transport. Only few of us you can see. We want our money, the verified creditors of Nitel MTEL, to be paid to the to the liquidator, so the liquidator could pay us. Our children are out of school.
One of the directors who spoke on the condition of anonymity said they were presently meeting to resolve the issue, adding from all indications that the money will be released soon and asked the protesters to be patient. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Gombe State Governor Muhammadu Inuwa Yahya has sworn in Justice Halima Sadiya Muhammad as the acting Chief Judge of the State High Court. Governor Yahya said the appointment of Justice Halima, who is the most senior in the State High Court, is sequel to the retirement of the State Chief Judge, Justice Joseph Ahmed Awak. Her appointment comes after the retirement of her predecessor, who was confirmed as substantive Chief Judge in less than a year. Governor Yahya urged the new head of the judiciary in the state to take the bull by the horn. Speaking to newsmen, Justice Sadiya said she is prepared for the task.
Of governors can only succeed in an environment where the executive, legislature, and the judiciary live in unity, harmony, and mutual cooperation. With this oath taking, Honorable Justice Halima Sadiya Mohammed is now the acting Chief Judge of Gombe State and the head of the judiciary, which is the third arm of government, comprising of the High Court, the Sharia Court of Appeal, and the Judicial Service Commission. While discharging your constitutional duties, I have no doubt that you will do so without discrimination, fear, or favor. On our part, we will continue to restate our commitment to respecting the independence of the judiciary according to the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The judiciary needs serious reforms in relation to issues of filing of cases, which is what is making the movement of cases to take a long time. We are going to go e-filing, and we are going to introduce so many issues on computers. We are going to computerize the system in the judiciary so that things will become easy for everybody.
I do solemnly swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Earlier, Governor Inuwa Yahya inaugurated sitting of the Gombe State Revenue Recovery Tribunal along the Gombe-Bauchi Road. The Nigeria Customs Service says it arrested 5 suspects, intercepted ammunition and other contraband worth duty-paid value of over 622 million naira in September. The acting Customs Area Controller in charge of the Federal Operations Unit Zone A of the service, Hussein Ejibunu, while addressing journalists at the unit on Wednesday, said the unit also recovered 107 million naira within the period under review. He said the unit intercepted imported bales of second-hand clothing abandoned in an uncompleted building in Lagos. Within the period under review, he added, the unit intercepted a large cache of premium motor spirit concealed inside sacks along the Badagry axis of Lagos State. Now for a look at the foreign scene, where Captain Ibrahim Traore has been appointed as president of Burkina Faso on Wednesday, according to an official statement, after the West African country's second coup in less than 9 months. An official statement read out on national television by a spokesman for the ruling junta, Captain Kiswendisa Farouk Azaria Sogo, said Traore has been appointed as head of state, supreme head of the armed forces. The statement said that Traoré will now be the guarantor of national independence, territorial integrity and continuity of the state. The impoverished Sahel nation plunged into renewed turmoil at the weekend when Lieutenant Colonel Paul-Henri Sandaogo Damiba, who seized power in January, was toppled by newly emerged rival Traoré, leading to a faction of disgruntled junior officers. And Ukraine has joined Spain and Portugal in their bid to host the 2030 World Cup. The partnership between the three countries was confirmed by leaders of the country's three football federations at UEFA headquarters on Wednesday. Details were not given on how many games will be held in Ukraine or in which cities, but the Olympic Stadium in Kyiv hosted the finals of the 2012 European Championships and the 2018 Champions League. Spain and Portugal previously announced their joint bid in June 2021. The new bid faces competition from a collaboration between Egypt, Greece and Saudi Arabia, and a South American bid between Uruguay, Argentina and Paraguay. FIFA will vote to choose the hosts in 2024. And that wraps up Trust TV News Update for this hour. Don't forget you can subscribe and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for watching.